Hi, and welcome to Horribly Off Topic number 34. This is Chris, and I'm with Steve, and I feel like we should already start over because I wasn't expecting what you were
gonna do. Who cares?
what you were gonna do. But
we'll get more mean tweets
from
Brian.
Too late.
Yep.
Now they can mean tweet us about our intro.
Another bad intro.
Another bad intro. That was what we used to get the most feedback about, was the intros, and then somehow we kind of like smoothed it out.
And then we just started doing wacky like homages to other ones. And then we gave that up because it was too difficult. You actually had to do writing for the.
I did have to do one, didn't I? I wrote something for God willing, I should write something.
It was the.
God willing.
It was the.
God forbid.
This American Life spoof thingy-ma-do.
That's right, I did do that.
When you were doing your Ira Glass impression, it was spot on.
It was. Oh, what I wouldn't give to be Ira Glass.
Yes. All right, so do you want to...
We got mean tweets.
We did.
We asked for mean tweets last episode.
And we got them.
We got them.
Surprisingly enough from Brian.
Yes. The first one that I got was... And I'm going to replace my @ here with... instead of saying @ECC1977, I'm just going to say Chris. So these are mean tweets.
So also I will, instead of saying @Tuesday is loser, I will say Steve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we need to do any other intro?
I just wanted to put my Twitter out there like you just did.
Like I just did. Does Kimmel do anything else before? I mean, obviously, we need a little bit of background music. Right here.
Right here is what. Right. Well, like on the Jimmy Kimmel show, they play a little music, and then they have the celebrity or president.
Yes.
Say the things.
You think the president's not a celebrity? Yeah.
I kind of have a little bit more respect for The Office to call him a celebrity.
Okay.
Is that?
No. That's good.
Okay.
I'm glad to hear that. All right. Here's the first one. Chris's idea of fun is watching a 2-hour conference presentation. He's a really fun guy.
Exactly. And then Steve hates thin, lightweight laptops. Do I have to do two?
You have to do two. Well, yeah. Just I think to balance it out,
because I got so many more zings.
Yes.
Because Brian knows me better.
Yes.
Steve wishes laptops still had floppy disk drives, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I have Sam and Max on No, it was on CD. Never mind.
CD.
Not that I could play it on my Mac, anyways.
No, but well, you could run an
one
emulator.
DOS on Mac.
Yeah, sure.
You can.
You could get an emulator. I'm sure. That's a good point. I don't know. There's a couple of them that let you run virtual machines, and I'm sure that one of those virtual machines would let you run DOS. It has to.
All right.
It has to.
All right, you go.
Chris tried to play Super Mario Brothers, gave up when he couldn't decide whether Mario should run to the right or the left.
which does bring up something we were talking about before the show.
Yes.
Chris says having trouble getting into the One Piece comic. It was because it's going backwards.
It's going backwards.
And you're reading it from right to left instead of left to right.
Yeah. Well, but in the original Super Mario Brothers, if we're talking about it, to be fair, you couldn't run. I mean, you could run to the left, but you couldn't run back. You could only run as far. Could you run to the left?
No, not really. I think they did some sort of wacky mod. Oh, actually, it was on that NES remix game that I have. They have like some Luigi stages where you run the opposite way, and it just looks weird and feels weird. Pardon.
Like One Piece.
One Piece is weird, but it's fun.
It just feels weird to read the other way.
Maybe we'll have you give.
Maybe I'll give it the old college try when I'm done with
stuff.
I just picked up my pen. I need to stop picking up my pen.
I'm going to take it away.
Take my pen away.
I just took his pen away from him. So my next one is Steve likes heavy laptops because he's so muscular. ... Not.
Oh, sick burn.
Thanks, Bri. Do I do my?
Do I do one more? I think you do the rest. Yeah. Somehow I messed that up.
Okay, so Steve thinks laptops should have laser disk drives. Actually,
which which was my favorite of all of them.
I think that, out of all the ones that Brian did, that was my favorite.
Because I'm trying to imagine, like, even an old school, like, 1980s or whenever the first laptop came out, probably wouldn't.
Then I might pick up some Laserdisc if they did.
But they wouldn't. Even then, it wouldn't have been big.
You could get. I think there's probably like the Star Wars on laser. Is there Star Wars on Laserdisc?
Oh, I'm sure there was.
So yeah, the Star Wars on Laserdisc is probably the last intact version.
Well,
the highest quality intact version.
It's funny that you said that. Two things that really quickly that I encountered this week.
Be quick.
No, really quickly. I heard a rumor. They are, since Disney owns the films now, that they are going to put out the original cuts. You know, probably with some getting rid of some color correction, getting rid of dust or whatever.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So apparently they're going to put out the original cuts. That was a rumor. And then the other thing, and I'll try to find the link for the show notes, was that some dude on the internet actually went through the trouble of creating despecialized editions, where he went through and found various broadcasts of the original films on TV. Maybe used a Laserdisc if that exists. Used various prints to basically create a non-special edition version, but with the highest quality print that you could get. And I think you have to go to the darker corners of the internet to track that down. But I will see if I can
like 4chan or something.
Yeah, or maybe MySpace.
MySpace.
I hear it's pretty dark over there now. Friendster.
You're relevant.
I'm relevant.
I like this one too. Steve, aka Grandpa Woodbury, drives 5 miles under the speed limit because his fixed income doesn't cover traffic tickets. And all right, and so we also got
yes, we said we only got mean tweets from Brian, but we got a mean email
from Leo. Because, I'll just read it.
Yes.
So it starts off, "Fuck you guys. This is my angry." I'm not even going to be angry when I'm saying it. This is my angry email. You aren't going to get a tweet because tweeting is for fucking losers who have too much time on their hands. Fuck Twitter. Speaking of people like that, let's talk about your favorite listener, Brian. The only reason he's your favorite listener is because his job is a joke, and he does nothing all day but write you fucks emails. Fuck Brian. I actually had an email that I was going to write you guys explaining why Chris was right about Transformers. However, I am still stuck in fucking Baltimore doing a real job that takes up too much of my time, so I never fucking finished it. Fuck Baltimore. Also, fuck you Gen X assholes for getting all stuck up about how millennials are privileged jerks who have a poorer work ethic than your old asses. This is coming from a crotchety old fuck who plays video games all day and hasn't ridden a bicycle in decades, and an even older fuck who can't bring himself to pick up a laptop that has the added weight of a CD-ROM drive. Fuck you guys. Seriously though, great show. You had me cracking up all over Maryland. Aww. Love, Leo. I added the love part.
Oh, but it was implied.
Yes, it was an implied
love. There's a lot of love in that meanness. That was.
We have some of the greatest listeners ever.
We do have some of the greatest listeners.
You can have that back.
In fact, there was a. I won't say his name because this was on Facebook, where apparently there's still privacy.
Shush. No fake laughs.
There was a friend of mine from high school who listened to their first episode this week, and it was episode 16.
Like in the middle.
In the middle. Just I want to know how. And next time I see him, I will ask him. Or maybe I could just post on Facebook.
You'd be like, "Why did you start
at the 16?"
Like, because that is pretty much the middle. Like this is episode 34 today.
Yes.
So like
16
the actual middle
would
would
short
be
of the middle.
Yeah.
17 would be the middle.
Well, like as of last week, it was approximately.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, last week when he listened, he decided to start right in the middle.
Yeah, which I mean, it was like the notes were like, Steve and Chris talk about bathroom floods and some other shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that was when my bathroom flooded. Yeah, that was fun.
Hey, we get compliments on our show notes. Our show notes should make it easy for somebody to understand.
Well, not the actual show notes. One that posts on iTunes.
The little description.
Yeah.
The little description.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which comes before the show note.
So yes, we usually save the emails and junk for the end, but figured we'd
come on.
We'd start off with those gems from Brian and Leo. Thank you guys.
Do not bury the lead.
Yeah.
Do not bury it. Yeah. So no transition. I got nothing.
Good. Cool.
It was spring break this week.
Yeah, it was not for me.
This past week was spring break. And the first few days were not very spring break like. But by the end, I was sitting on my couch in my pajamas for like 8 hours straight watching TV.
I played Pokemon for most of the day today, if that makes you feel any better.
That does make me feel better, because I was feeling a little bit guilty for sitting on my ass, watching television.
I'm getting closer to catching them all. It's kind of I'm starting to get to the hard part of catching Pokemon right now, because like the ones that are left are all
slippery?
They're all like legendary Pokemon. There's only one of them kind of roaming around, and you have to fucking find it. And when you find it, you have to be like, oh, what are you doing? Hey, Pokemon, come over here. Then you're gonna run away again.
Do you have to offer it candy?
No, there's no Poke Candy, no Poke White Van.
No ice cream being exchanged.
No puppy.
Oh, so that's hard. I mean, when you can't use those things to coerce you
can't allure the children. I mean, Pokemon
into slavery for you, right? Because isn't that we
that was our it was like Pokemon is an analogy for dogfighting.
Yes, that's right. Way back when, way back. So how close is close?
In one of the two games that I'm playing right now, I've got maybe about 15 or so more to get. The other one, as far as the region, that region's Pokemon,
right.
And then the other one, I'm
who knows,
a lot.
Video game wise, I have been playing.
Oh, nice.
Angry Birds.
Oh,
because I know. I'm sorry. But you had mentioned to me that you were light years ahead of me in terms of Angry Birds score. But I've had an iPhone for probably longer.
Yeah.
And I had Angry Birds way back when, and I was like, God damn it, I may never beat Steve, but I'm gonna beat all fucking Angry Birds. So I've been playing Angry Birds and just
trying to beat the levels or get
just
3
trying
stars
to beat the
each?
levels. Yeah, no, I'm not a star completionist.
Yeah, I am. So that's why.
That's why I'll never beat you.
No, that even then, then I was trying to get the achievements to get the score achievements, and so then I got even higher scores beyond the 3-star ratings that I got for each of them.
Well, whatever version. So this Angry Birds that I have on my phone has like all sorts of levels, and I just did Red's Mighty Feathers. I went through that whole thing.
You might have beat all the more levels than I have, because I'm still on Bird Day Party.
Oh well, I think Red's Mighty Feathers might have. Anyway, I'm not gonna open it. But some of the mechanics.
And you'll start playing it on the show.
Some of the mechanics are different, and I really took issue with. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and they were saying nobody plays Angry Birds anymore because apparently Rovio reported like a huge loss in profits this past quarter.
Oh no.
And the podcast host that I was listening to was like, nobody plays Angry Birds anymore. I'm like, I fucking play Angry Birds. I am an old man.
You're not everybody though.
I am everybody. God damn it.
No.
I am representative.
A lot of people like having fun.
I don't believe that. I think that's horseshit. No,
so your brother plays video games for a living.
I know, but do you think he has fun playing those video games for a living?
but he probably plays video games recreationally and has fun doing that.
Probably. All right. Well,
or maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
He's just one person. I'm saying I am representative of most people who do not like to have fun, and who, when they sit down to watch a movie, actually sit there looking at their phone or their watch, saying, "Okay, all right, I am allowed to sit here and watch for the rest. No, I really should get up. No, I should get up. Nope, watch the movie."
So I let you borrow a movie.
Let me borrow a movie.
Let me actually make a segue here.
That was the first of the movies. I think the first of the movies that I watched this week was Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you think?
What did I think?
Let's do your on-the-spot review of Wet Hot American Summer.
On the spot. It was great.
Yes.
It was great.
I was hoping you weren't going to say it was bad.
No.
I was like, I'd probably have to smack you.
One of the things that was interesting for me watching it is I watched it a day or so after I tried watching this show on Netflix I think it's called The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
I watched that as well.
Okay, so I tried watching it, and I got 11 minutes into it. And
11 episodes in, I'm just like, I'm done with this.
No, I got 11 minutes into it, and I was done. I think
like
it was Jane Kasmerik's character, if that's
she's always a terrible person.
I mean, she's always that character.
Yeah,
and
she's very good at it.
And I think, it just got to that point, and I was like, I don't want to sit through 11 or no, it's half-hour episodes, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to sit through 7 hours of this. Like, I'm not interested enough in this character. She goes. There's that other actress who I've seen places who's trying to rent her out the apartment in the first episode.
She
was kind of annoying.
It's like the Penguin's mother or something.
Yes, something like that. She was kind of annoying.
And she was in what was it? Addams Family.
Okay,
yeah, the old lady. Well, I forget what the hell her name is.
Anyway, so I watched Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I watched 10 or 11 minutes of it, and I'm like, I think there are certain types of humor that if I sort of look at what commitment I'm looking at, I'm just like, I can't do 7 hour of this. Like, 20 minutes of it, I would be okay.
Hold on, hold the phone for a second. Did you watch 30 Rock?
I've maybe seen like one episode of 30 Rock.
So like, I mean, it's a Tina Fey show.
Yeah.
So it's got the same sensibilities to it.
And I didn't like 30 Rock.
So then you're probably not going to like this.
Yeah, no. But the funny thing is that I did like, after years of somebody saying to me that I should watch it, I did like Mean Girls, which was Tina Fey.
Yeah, but that's different. That's a film.
It's a movie. That's what I'm saying. So coming into watching Wet Hot American Summer, within the first couple minutes, I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure if my sense of humor aligns well with it. And then
the thing is, like the beginning of that movie is pretty like normal.
Yeah,
it's a normal, like there's occasional, like, there's some salty language,
right?
And things like there's a couple of sight gags that I really like at the beginning of the movie, where like one of the dudes like throws a bottle and it makes they use that stock sound effect of just like something breaking.
Oh yeah.
And then a little bit later, like maybe the next scene, they use that same sound effect. Like with like what's his butt, David Hyde Pierce and Jimmy Garofalo. He's like swinging the little spade around. It falls out of his hand, and then it makes the same sound. And I'm like little things like that are just really.
Well, yeah. Maybe I didn't even have that thought at the beginning, but one of the things that I realized once I got to the end of it was like, if I were looking at this movie and I watched like 10 or 11 minutes of that movie and then thought, do I want to sit through 7 hours of it? I would, which does not bode well for me watching the Netflix series that we talked about last week that's based on it. I was like, I don't know if after 10 minutes I would have the patience. There's something that happens to me when watching certain bits of comedy that I'm just like, I can't do it. But for 2 hours, and I started to realize like what they were doing and what kind of movies they were sending up and kind of paying homage to, I was fully on board. Loved
it was sort of just like Meatballs kind of.
Yeah, and all of the Meatballs 2,
like all of the Meatballs movies.
Yeah, all of the.
Are you ready for the summer? No, yeah, well, it's obviously not that bad.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was, and to keep spotting people that I recognized from later in their careers in this movie, where it's obviously earlier in their careers, and then to also think about the Netflix series and think, well, that'll be really interesting to see them like, trying to play.
They're playing like earlier versions of those characters,
at least by a couple days. Yeah.
Well,
I think it's day one.
Yeah,
right,
day one of the
subtitled, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's gonna just go from through the summer. I imagine what the series will be.
Yeah.
But it's weird because a lot of the stuff like that happens in the movie is like a lot of the interactions between the characters happen like on that one that last day.
Yeah.
So it's just like what? So what are they gonna do? Like
what are their relationships like on the first day?
Yeah, and like because they don't really interact at that point.
Right. But it was what's interesting. Not that everything has to be about Star Wars, but What's interesting is that if this is an all summer long summer camp, I think it's way more interesting that they decided to make a series about day one than a series about like day 80 or whatever,
or day 16, right in the middle,
right?
Because that's where you start things. What?
Just meaning
I can't wait for him to get to this.
He's gonna be
like, get the subtle razz for me.
I think it's great to see, like, because we don't know. It could be a whole different arc that of their stories that is totally over and has nothing to do. It's so early in the summer in the world of that story that we don't know, like, for sure how it's going to end, because it's just day one, or whatever.
The thing is about that movie, the first time I saw it, I think it was on like Stars or something like that, way back, like, because the movie came out in let me just look.
I think it might have been like 2000.
I think it was 2000 even. You might be right, but where is it?
Where is it?
Let me at least get closer to the mic again. What the hell?
I don't know.
Could have it somewhere on the DVD. That would be neat.
It could be neat. Might be somewhere.
I'm the Foley artist this time.
You used to be able to find this shit really, really easily. As a copyright, even if it was in Roman numerals.
2002 is when the DVD came out. So,
okay. All right.
So probably 2001. So it was probably when I was on break from college and I was at home at my dad's place.
Yeah, saw it on Stars.
So and it was like halfway through.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. To come in halfway through would be
and I saw it and like it was like, oh, there's Michael Ian Black from The State.
Right. Yeah.
I'll watch this, and then just things, and I'm gonna borrow something that I keep on hearing on How Did This Get Made? They say cuckoo bananas.
Okay.
That's when the movie just goes off the rails.
Yeah.
Like about halfway through, you're just like, what? When they go into, like, I'm not going to say what happens if you've never seen this movie.
Right.
If you're a fan of this show and you haven't seen Wet on American
Now
Summer,
that we've gotten both of us to endorse it, you should, you definitely need to.
But, like, when they go into town.
Yes. Yes. That part, I was just like, what the actual fuck? I don't.
Because you're like, this comes out of nowhere.
Comes out of nowhere, and then when they get back, there's almost no
address. There's absolutely no addressing it. And like, it was like, hey, how was town? Oh, it's fun to get out of here, even if it's just for an hour.
Yeah. Wait,
like, what? So
yeah. I mean, I guess all of that could have happened in an hour. I mean, it happened on screen in like 5 minutes.
Because it was a fun montage.
Yeah, it was, and you need one of those.
Yes.
So I watched that, and that was good.
You're like speaking like you were reading the Bible. I watched it, and it was good.
And it was good. I also tried watching a number of other things this week. I guess possibly to depress myself. I didn't know it was going to be depressing. I watched Lars and the Real Girl next.
That
I think
movie,
that was.
I thought we talked about this before.
Tell me about it.
And I said, don't watch that. It's depressing as shit.
And I forgot that you said that. So I had built up this big Netflix queue, and I decided it was going to be one of my missions for this week to kind of go through the Netflix queue, because I attack fun like it's a job.
Yeah.
And
true. The circle gets the square.
So I decided to watch Lars and the Real Girl, and it was really fucking depressing. But
like that like, I thought it was going to be a fun dark comedy.
Yeah.
It was less
comedy and just dark, less
really,
fun and just really dark.
And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. Oh. But I really enjoyed the arc of the girl that's kind of in love with him. Mm-hmm. Because at the beginning I couldn't stand her. I thought the actress was doing a great job. The writing was good. I couldn't stand the character, and by the end I was fully there with her on her journey. And to think that Ryan, what's his name?
Seacrest?
Yes, that one.
No.
Hank
Gosling?
Ryan Phillippe. No, Gosling. Yes.
Is it Ryan Gosling?
I think it's Ryan.
I don't remember. Like, it's been a long time since he's been
But that guy, like, all the women are like kind of in love with that dude, and that he's playing that character is very interesting. in that film. So yeah, that one was kind of a downer after Wet Hot American Summer.
You should have watched Wet Hot American Summer first.
I did.
I mean second.
Second. Well, I want priorities. My homework was to watch Wet Hot American
Summer. It was also to read One Piece, but you're like, it's backwards.
It's backwards. I can't handle it. I also started watching Django Unchained again during my workouts, which was fun.
Repeat after me. When I count down, 1, 2, Django.
Go. Django. Wait, what?
1, 2, Django. That is a joke just for Brian.
All right. And I forgot how much I liked that movie, but in the context of liking that movie, I went back to my queue and I was like, well, I have Kill Bill 1 and Kill Bill 2. I only ever saw Kill Bill 1, but I've had
Kill
these
Bill 2 is an entirely different movie.
I've had them in my queue for years.
Quay.
And
It's pronounced Quay.
I got rid of both of them. I tried watching a bit of The Edge of Tomorrow. I think I had that on HBO. And I got like
Go?
Yeah, I got that like 10 minutes into that and I was done. I was like, I don't care about Tom Cruise, and it wasn't moving fast enough, and the suits looked stupid.
Okay, I don't even know what that movie is.
Tom Cruise somehow gets drafted into trying to take out aliens that have taken over Europe, and
standing on the edge of tomorrow today.
And,
do you know what that was the theme to?
Oh God, fuck! Yeah,
come on.
Wait, all right.
You can do this. I've got faith in you. Listeners?
Oh, Small Wonder.
No.
I don't know. It
was, and I might be wrong. Like, people can give us angry emails if I'm wrong here.
Oh, Punky Brewster.
No. It was later. It was like probably early 90s.
Early 90s.
Maybe closer, pretty close to mid 90s.
I'm going to actually punch myself the moment that you tell me, because I know that I know it.
So it was, and I don't know if you ever watched it, because it was a primetime show that lasted a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
It was
Saved by the Bell to College Years.
Yes!
Yes!
You get the prize.
I don't have to punch myself. Yes. Speaking of, well, she wasn't in Saved by the Bell to College Years because she was busy doing Showgirls, which was another one that was in my queue.
I think the only people that were on the college years were Screech and Zach.
There were three. No, Screech, Zach, and Slater were all.
So it was just the guys.
It was just the guys, and then they brought in
that guy
Kelly. They brought in Kelly.
But wasn't she doing Melrose Place at that time?
She might have been, but she
or was it 90210? I don't even know.
90210.
It was one of those two.
But she came in and did a little bit of that in its like the latter part of its first. I don't know if it had 2 seasons, but
no, it had 1 season.
It had 1 season, so she did it the latter part of their season.
They were like, well, this show is bombing. We need to get Kelly Kapowski.
We need Kelly Kapowski. So anyway, I did watch a little bit.
That's my TV executive impression, and I think it's pretty spot on.
I think it's pretty spot on.
Because they have the jowls, they're like, like Nixon.
They are past the borderlands of B-word fat in the parlance of Patton Oswalt. B-word fat is when you can tell somebody's fat just by the way they pronounce their B's.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that bit, but I'm not sure.
It's a good bit.
That bit.
I can't do it. Yeah, watched a little bit of Showgirls. I said I don't need to watch this again. It's better to just exist in the memory.
Is that on a streaming service?
It was on a streaming service.
And we keep on.
We've mentioned it was on Netflix. Okay.
Whatever. Who cares?
And I watched.
Like they'd ever sponsor us. Anyways.
I know. And I watched a little bit of Dracula, the Bram Stoker one.
That one's actually good.
That one's pretty good. I watched that.
Except for Keanu Reeves.
Well, I think when we had the whole episode about how Chris lost his virginity, I mentioned that was the quote unquote sexiest movie that I had on VHS in my dorm room, and so that was the movie that was on just before that blessed event happened.
Sorry, I'm glad I didn't have any in my nose because a booger might have come flying out of it.
Yeah, so I revisited that and I was like, I could watch this one, but there's no reason to keep it in my queue. If I want to watch it, I will go search for Dracula and I will find it.
See, I'm all right with like leaving things in my queue. That's like
it feels like homework. It feels like I need to get through it. For the same one of the reasons I gave you One Piece back is because it sits up there staring at me. I'm like, you need to read this. You need to read it.
Do you want me to read it to you and then show you the pictures?
No, that's all right. But I mean, it's the reason I try to keep my to be read shelf low, and I try to keep my queues empty.
See, I'm all right because like when I started with Netflix streaming, I put Firefly on there, and I'm probably gonna get shit from Jaws Wheaton folks.
Yes. I think you've expressed your opinions on Jaws. Jaws Wheaton.
I don't know. I don't like.
Now he sounds like that football commentator on ESPN. I think there was a guy named Jaws. Jaws Wheaton.
Like the guy from James Bond, or the shark.
Both.
Oh.
Yes. Jaws Wheaton, you had Firefly on your queue. I'm sorry.
It's still there. I mean, it's the first thing on my queue.
That was one of the ones that I got.
It was like everybody's like, "Oh my god, you need to watch Firefly." And what's the movie?
Serenity.
Yes, and I think I have that on there too. And I've never watched it.
I had both of them. They sat on there for a year. I took them off. I watched 3 or so episodes of Firefly, and I liked it. I never, it wasn't enough to keep me coming back.
I started,
and it's the same thing that 2 seasons, 1 season.
I don't know. I haven't watched any of it.
It's the same problem that I have with a whole bunch of the other things that are on my queue. Is I watched first 3-4 episodes of Californication, which has been on my queue for a while. David Duchovny. All right, so maybe I'll take it off. Anyway, I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes. I liked them, and then I looked and I saw it was like 7 seasons, and I was like, that's what I was talking about earlier. It's like I like this show if it was like 3 seasons of 10 episodes, cool, I'd be on board. I'd watch it. 7 seasons of 12 episodes? No, I can't. I mean, it's the same reason I started watching Orange is the New Black, and I think I'm 2 episodes in, and I'm intrigued, but they're going to put on a 3rd season next month, and I'm just like,
oh my god, everything is so overwhelming.
Everything is overwhelming. Fun is overwhelming. House of Cards, similar. I
haven't watched it, but I did start watching.
I think I would really like House of Cards, but it's just like 3 seasons in.
It's not all about you, Chris.
I know.
So I started watching. Watching what is it? Walking Dead.
Okay, yeah.
And I watched the first 2 episodes, and it was the first episode was really long, and I imagined it was an event when it first premiered, and it was cool. I liked it. I didn't think I wouldn't.
Right.
But it was just something that I just hadn't started yet.
Yeah.
And now I'm in, and I'm trying to pace myself, I guess, because I'm having the opposite problem because
you liked it enough that you want to keep.
I want to power through.
Okay.
But then I'll have the same problem that I have with One Piece currently, where I'm reading the chapters as they come out, and I go bonkers when it's like a cliffhanger ending. I'm like, fuck you, and I'm just like, god damn it, I gotta wait another goddamn week, and if there's a break I have to wait 2 weeks, and I'm just going fucking out of my mind.
Yeah.
So because I'm like I'm very good at power watching something.
Yeah.
Not as good as John, my former roommate, not your brother.
Yeah.
He's the master
at power watching.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
It was weird because like I might have told this story before, but like at the time he and we started watching One Piece independently at around the same time. Because like I had watched it a bunch in college, and then I had it slipped my mind. It left my brains, and I'm like, oh yeah, that. And I saw it on like it was back when I was still getting discs for Netflix, and I was just getting them. I'm like, oh cool, I'll get that. So I did, and like John was watching it at the same time, but we had never communicated that between each other, and it was just weird, a weird coincidence. And so the next time after that we hung out, I was like, yeah, I've been watching One Piece, and they're like, oh, me too. And so we're just like, oh, let's hang out and we'll just watch it together.
Right.
And then it was around the time when I bought this. And I'm like, oh, I got the new computer, so I can watch whenever.
Yeah.
Then, so just watch up until a point, and then let me know what episode you're at, so when the next time we hang out, we can watch more or whatever.
Right.
And then, like, the next, I talked to him the next week, and he was like, and I'm like, what episode are you on? And it was like 100 episodes.
How long are the episodes?
Well, it's if you cut out the open credits and closing credits and like recap and whatever, it's probably about 20, if not 19 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you trim things down, it's all right. But
that's
he did an impressive amount of power watching.
The only thing, my first exposure to power watching, I guess, was I got sick around
power watching or power washing.
Power watching.
Oh, okay. You just didn't have that crazy high pressure hose.
No, I've done that.
Oh, cool.
I've done that.
Final sighting.
Yeah, something.
All right, did I just completely derail you?
No, I was trying to think of some funny follow up there. And I had nothing.
Too late.
I got sick around when Lost season 3 was on, and John Martin, friend of the show, has been mentioned here before. I do Generation Goat with him. John had lent me his Lost season 1 and season 2 DVDs, and I could not get up off the couch, so I binge watched the first.
How did you change the discs?
Well, I mean, I obviously got up off the couch enough to change the disc.
So
but that was
you're a liar.
I was being hyperbolic, yes.
Sorry, hyperbolic liar.
I am not a liar.
You were in a hyperbolic chamber.
Hypobaric.
Oh, whatever.
Anyway, so that was my first exposure, and funny enough that like Lost is still. And I know some people hate Lost, but Lost is the show that I look to in terms of like that's what I want out of a TV show.
What about seasons 4, 5, and 6?
Were there 6 seasons or 7 seasons? 6 seasons. I loved 4 and 5, and
4 wasn't bad. 4 was the time travel one, right?
4 was not the time travel one.
5 was the time. Okay, so 5 was when I fell off.
Yeah,
like 6, I was like,
yeah, I love it. I love it front to back. I think it's a great show, and it's what I judge everything else against. So when I start to see things that are beyond 7 seasons, beyond 6 seasons, and especially things that don't figure out what they did, which is have shorter seasons by the end, that's when I kind of, I don't know if I'm in for the full on commitment. What was your first thing that was One Piece the first thing that you binge watched?
No, there was plenty before. Breaking Bad was the first thing that I really kind of...
That is still in my queue.
Tore through.
Yeah, it's still in my queue. I am in midway through season 2, and I need to get back to it.
I was... apparently, what they're doing with Better Call Saul, the prequel series with...
oh, it's a prequel. I did not know... okay.
So, yeah, Bob Odenkirk from Mr. Show fame.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was related. I just didn't know where it took place.
So, yeah, he... the way they're doing it in other countries besides here is AMC is distributing it to Netflix.
Okay.
And they're putting them out one episode at a time out on Netflix in other countries, not here. We can't have it on Netflix because we have to watch it on AMC.
We have to watch it on AMC, yeah.
Which I don't. I actually bought it. I bought the series on iTunes.
On iTunes, yeah. That's what I do.
Because your brother gave me that gift card, so I'm like, whatever.
Okay.
I gotta,
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
it's not like I actually paid money for it.
Yeah,
your brother did.
If it's a series that I intend on watching again and again, and I want to see it as it comes out, I tend to buy it on iTunes. I did it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. most recently. I buy those.
That's. I mean, you don't have Hulu?
I don't. No.
Okay, yeah. Well, those come out on Hulu the next day.
Yeah, I mean, and you can watch them on the ABC the next day as well.
Well,
it's
then
just
fuck me.
I'm just saying.
I don't really.
I don't. I'm not. No. As much as I might joke to the contrary, I have no interest in putting my dick anywhere near you, Steve.
Thank you.
Likewise. Breaking Bad. Is it worth it?
Yes. I like it, I was talking about this last night with.
We talked about it last week too. It is Vince Gilligan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gilligan. Yeah, I was talking about it last night, and I was saying to some of my coworkers because we went out for drinks after work. It's probably one of my favorite shows ever.
Yeah. Well, I have as I mentioned last week, I have a student who swears by it, and he's reading scripts from it as part of his senior project.
One of my favorite things that happened on the O&A show back in the day was God rest his soul, Otto Peterson of Otto and George fame, the puppet comic.
Okay.
That is actually one of my favorite comics, and I never got to see him, and he was coming into town with it was Otto and George, which is his puppet, and John Valby, who just does dirty song. He's an amazing pianist. Sorry, he's an amazing pianist, and he
who sings songs about penises.
Dirty, really songs. Yeah. Really dirty songs about like gangbangs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it would like I don't know why I didn't, because I was at like the casino ballroom and the Chickets were the Chickets were Teap. I just thought I would just God damn it, why is it always something that I screw up saying? The Chickets were Teap. The tickets were cheap, and I don't know why I didn't go. Like, and I'm really regretting it now that he's passed away, obviously. But yeah, he was just talking about Breaking Bad and how bad of a liar Walter White is.
I mean, I could. That's my impression from the first season and a half. I don't know how it goes over the rest of it.
And like, and it's amazing how he doesn't get into more trouble without bad of a, because he's like this, something happens later, but it's like the Walter Jr. He's like, Dad, why do you smell like gas? He's like, well, son, the thing is, it all turned into Cosby. I put this thing in her drink, and
oh God.
Next thing I know,
I've
got allegations. So yeah, he's like, oh, hey. He's just flipping out. He's like, oh, like I was at the gas station and there was a problem with the pump and it got all over my pants, and he's just really over the top lying.
Yeah,
and like Otto did a great, like much better than I just did.
Yeah,
impression of Walter White lying, and if you can find it on YouTube's or whatever, I suggest go out and find it. And like whenever you can find like anything with Otto, like oh my God, there was one. What the fuck was it? And he was just talking. I don't know. Just find clips of him.
Find clips of Otto.
Find clips of Otto online, because he's so like just raw and just doesn't give a shit if you think this is funny, because he thinks it's fucking hilarious.
What are your strategies for binge watching then? Because you say you're pretty good at it. Getting back,
see that spot right there.
Your bed.
Yeah. I usually just hunker down there and get the PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
And then push play, and then when it says, "Are you still watching such and such show?" I say yes.
See, that's what Stephanie does too. And she's watching. I finally figured out what the hell it is that she's been watching. It's a Beauty and the Beast. It's a remake of the.
No, it's not the one with what's his butt. The dude that was in Hellboy.
No, I don't. It's a TV series with the girl who used to be on Smallville.
Okay, so it's not the old Beauty and the Beast from
no. Yeah, but I feel like it's a remake of that series. Like, so it's got a female cop, and it's got a guy who is somehow I don't get it. Female cop is played by Kristen Carrera. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She was on Smallville, playing exactly.
That was like a record scratch. What was that?
That was so I could isolate that, and we're gonna take that, send it to Dan, and he can turn it into a TNS record.
Just that one thing.
Just that one thing.
That's the whole thing. Is
no. She's playing the fucking Linda Hamilton. Linda Hamilton? Yeah. That role. I think she was.
Who's the teapot? I don't answer it seriously.
Anyway, so
just laugh like you did.
That's how she binge watches, and I can't do it. First of all, I think I've turned that option off somehow, because it doesn't happen anytime I try to watch TV series. It doesn't show up.
Are you still watching?
No, it just doesn't autoplay the next episode.
Oh.
So I must have turned that off.
I don't like it when I'm watching something on Hulu and like it's like it'll assume that, like, sometimes it works out, because like if I watch an episode of The Simpsons, it's like, oh, the next up is Family Guy. I'm like, oh, cool. I was going to watch that anyways. But sometimes it's like, oh, here's something that, like, I'll watch New Girl.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, "Oh, do you want to watch the Mindy Project?" And I'm like, "I don't really like that show." And you keep on trying to force it on me, and like really quick, like because like the credits are rolling. It's like the next show will start in 5 seconds. I'm like, 5 seconds? I need to turn the controller on.
That's what happened to me on YouTube a bunch yesterday. I was trying to watch some stuff and it was doing that. So that part is annoying when it tries to force a different show on you. But I gotta go find that setting that lets you just play the next episode, because that was what was great about I guess maybe when I was binge watching Lost, I had to press the DVD menu to go to the next
when I was sick, actually the last time I was really sick was I think 2009. I had I mean like bedridden, like I can do anything, like right. And because sometimes you're sick and you're like, oh, I feel like garbage and I don't want to get my coworkers sick and I'll probably be really not productive at work. Yeah. So you just don't go in because of that. Yeah. And it totally makes sense and it's justifiable. But there's also there's the times when you're sick and you can't move. You're just like, you've got the fever and just the sweats and chills, and then vice versa for the like that was like and it sucked because it was when your brother was back for a little bit and I didn't get to see him because I was freaking,
because you were sick.
And he and Brian, not a different Brian, came by and brought me ice cream because it was like because my throat was so sore or whatever.
Right, yeah.
I couldn't eat anything, and they brought me some soft serve to see if I could
see if that would work.
I did manage to eat some of it, which was good.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, you just reminded me that the other show that I did. So Lost, I did.
Oh yeah, but that's why I was like, okay. that was what I was watching when I was like that sick. I would just put the DVD in, and I would fall asleep halfway through an episode, and I'd seen it before, so it was fine. Yeah. It's not like, but like. And then I would wake up. The menus on Lost are awesome for waking up, because it's just usually the beach and it's like rolling waves and whatnot. I'm like, oh, this is nice.
I like this. Where am I?
Oh, I'm still in my bed and terribly sick.
I feel like I don't know when I would have done the Lost thing. Maybe it was before Kaylee was born. But the other show that I binge watched that you just reminded me of, I don't know how, was Battlestar Galactica, the newer version of it. And I had to go to I was going to various like libraries around to get the DVDs from them because I couldn't find it online, at least for free. At that point I was still willing to pirate things, which I'm not anymore. And
pirate them by as in go to the library and get them. That's not pirating.
No, I did look online and was willing to download an illegal copy if I could find it, but at that point I couldn't find what I needed, so I was going to various libraries, and then finally I did find one BitTorrent file that had the entire series, and downloaded it, and finally got to watch all of them.
You're just telling people illegal things on our show.
Statute of limitations. Right?
Statue of limitations.
Statue of limitations.
It's outside a courthouse somewhere. It's some sort of statue of limitations.
Have you watched Orange Is the New Black?
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw it. It was weird. Like I was at Target the other day and I saw it on DVD and I'm like, what?
Yeah. It is strange, and it's one of those things. So like, Daredevil is coming out on Netflix.
The movie?
No, like a new set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Daredevil, like maybe not ultra violent.
Ultra Magnus?
Not. We've done this joke.
Yes.
But a violent, sort of adult themed. We've talked about Daredevil too. Anyway, Daredevil is coming out.
We're talking about everything. Why don't we just give it up?
Give it up. End with episode 34.
No.
But that's coming out, and my tradition is to, like, with the Marvel stuff, to buy it all so that I own it all.
Got to buy it, your book amount.
But if it's on Netflix, why not just, like, it's going to be on Netflix, especially since it's a Netflix-produced show. Just keep buying Netflix.
I got to buy it today. I got to buy it a ticket. I got to buy. Sorry. Have you ever seen that episode of South Park?
I have not seen an episode of South Park in like 10, 15 years.
Well, this was probably about 10 years ago, at least. It was bringing it back to what I was talking about earlier, Pokemon. It was the Chim Pokemon or whatever. Just and then the ads, the ads that they had for him were just like, just trying to get the kids to buy it.
Yeah.
And they had and then when Pokemon was going out of style slightly. They were just like, the wild, wacky action bike, the bike that's hard to ride. And it's just like a big wheel with like, but it's like the kids trying to ride it and like the pedals are all wonky and like.
Fun.
And then it was like, then they had Alabama Man.
Sounds like a racist superhero.
No, he was just like a regular guy, but it was an action figure. Alabama Man. That's that. You know, I'm just recommending more things to watch.
More things to watch.
Yeah, watch the.
Finish listening to this, and then go out and watch things for the rest of your week.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
just
that's
quit your jobs and watch media and listen to the show.
That's the thing. When do people find the fucking time to do all that? Like, when do people find the time to binge watch things?
Here's the thing.
I don't get it.
I don't have children.
Okay, there's that. But my wife still finds the time to binge watch things.
Because you're busy, like, stressing out about things. And she's like, well, you know, Chris is just going to do that. I'm going to
sit and watch TV?
Yeah.
I'm binging on stress?
Yes. Oh. Instead of on shows.
So now I don't know. What do I go to? I could go to continue watching Orange is the New Black because that's what I started with, and maybe I'd catch up, and then maybe go back to
mustard. Sorry, I did Chip again. God damn it.
Or I could go back to Breaking Bad because I got a season and a half into it, and I didn't stop because I didn't like it. I just stopped because I ran out of time. Or do you mix it up? Like, do you kind of like say, all right, on this day I'm gonna, or do you just not think about it this much? And
you just like, hey, what am I in the mood for? A show about a women's prison with occasional tits? Or
there were a lot of tits in the beginning of that episode. I just have to. I was not prepared. Obviously, I was not going to watch it with my kids around. But I was like, oh my god, there's a lot of I looked around my downstairs where my big TV is. You know, it has a lot of open windows, and I was just like.
Were you afraid somebody's going to be in the backyard, like sneaking in, watching your tit movies?
There are kids who, when they're coming home from high school, or not so much in the wintertime, but they walk right through the backyard, whether they're coming high school, middle school.
What are they going to just be like salivating at the window, or they'll be like, well, you know, I've seen that show too.
There's a fair amount of lesbian stuff going on there. You know, a teenage boy comes by, happens to see. You know,
was he going to start whacking his bag in your backyard?
It's been known to happen.
No, no, it's not.
Okay.
Don't.
I guess I was just anyway. There were a lot of boobs in.
The thing is, like let me get back. Like, but the thing is, like,
and I don't know why I didn't expect it because it's set in a women's prison,
and it's like an adult themed show.
Yeah.
The thing is, like,
Jason Biggs is an asshole in that show for watching Mad Men. I just gotta say.
What?
That was the last episode. I think I'm only 2 episodes in, and she makes him promise not to watch Mad Men until she's out of prison. And then Jason Biggs comes home and he's flipping around. He flips past football, past baseball, and he ends up on Mad Men. And he takes their photo and he sort of puts it face down so that she can't be looking at him. And he sits there.
I know, what a scumbag.
He's a scumbag.
Well,
I really like the show. I think it's fun.
So, but I'm going to get back to something that you glazed over.
I glazed over.
Is the kid like there's so many ways
so
for
many kids.
Like, no, there's so many ways for
jerking it in my backyard.
Oh my god. There's so many ways for kids to find like pornography on the internet now.
I know.
That watching like boobs on their neighbor, like through their neighbor's window, it wouldn't even cross their fucking mind.
All right.
If there was some sort of naughtiness happening live in your living room and you had the window open, I imagine they might be like, hey, well, take a peek at this thing that's happening live in front of us.
Live, maybe. It does, all of this, and I said this to Stephanie last night, and I think she kind of rolled her eyes at me, and I was like, we're moving back into my parents' house, which I've talked about here. It's probably by the end of the summer.
Cool.
And I was like, all these things. I mean, the thing is it's fine for her. It's fine for her. She's not moving back into her parents' house.
Yeah.
I'm moving into my parents' house.
But the thing is,
it's fine for my kids. They're moving in their grandparents' house. Let's see grandparents. I am the one who is moving not only into my parents' house, but into an expanded version of my old fucking bedroom. And so now I'm kind of like, all right, do I actually have permission to watch a show with lots of boobs in it.
Just watch it downstairs with your dad.
I'm not. I can't. You know, my dad. He'd be making bad off-color lesbian jokes.
Yes, it would be sort of fun. At least there wouldn't be like a Super Bowl on the line with the wacky things he was saying.
Wacky things he would be saying. Yeah, this is true. This is true. Yeah, no,
your dad doesn't know how to not talk ever. He doesn't know how to just like.
Yeah.
I did a visual thing for the radio, like where you zip your lip. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it runs in the family. Obviously, earlier I was not shutting up and letting you speak.
No, it was fine.
And my daughter.
But guess what? I called you on it.
You did call me on it,
and I call your dad on it whenever I'm there.
My daughter Kaylee also doesn't know when to not talk. We went to go see Cinderella, the live action Cinderella last weekend, and in the middle of oh gosh, which character was it that she pointed out? Oh, in the middle of Cinderella's mother in the movie, and if you've seen the original Disney movie, Cinderella's mother isn't even in the original. She's in this for maybe 2 minutes. I don't know, but somewhere in that traumatic two minutes when Cinderella's mother is getting sick and dying, Kaylee leans forward from like 6 seats down because she wanted to be next to my mom. She leans forward. She's like, "Dad, that's Agent Carter," because the actress who plays Cinderella's mother is the actress who plays Agent Carter in the Marvel. Like, shouts out, like, because she's got to get my. And I'm like, "Jeez,
that's hilarious."
She fucking is her grandfather's grandchild.
No, but the thing, did she say anything more than that?
No, but
that's fine.
But
if I was in the theater watching, well, I would not have been in that theater watching Cinderella. But like, if I was, I would not be upset by that. I'd be like,
by a 9-year-old shouting out. But it starts somewhere.
But that's funny.
She's 9, and she's already shouting out in movies. Just saying.
What are you, racist now?
What? I said she's 9 and she's already shouting out in movies.
Yeah. So you're racist, is what you're saying.
What's racist about that?
Just never mind.
I don't.
Never mind.
Okay.
What's on the list? What else?
What's on the list?
What else do we haven't talked about? We talked about shows for fucking
we talked
the
about
entire
shows,
episode.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I did not mention that I watched Neighbors. Everyone told me, and I was like, but it was funny. You know, it was funny to watch once. And, I don't have to watch it again.
No, it's not. Do we have anything else on here that is not shows?
That is not shows
related.
No.
What? You have Nintendo on the bottom there.
Oh, that's right. Nintendo and mobile. I keep seeing tweets and Facebook posts and articles talking about Nintendo.
More like farticles.
Farticles.
Again, with I need to stop.
Saying that Nintendo is going to bring their games to mobile. And I feel like I've seen this before, and it never turned out to be true.
Here's the thing: they did sign a contract with a company to start making mobile games.
Okay,
they're not going to be direct ports of original Nintendo games, or original Super Nintendo games, or blah 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 blah. They're not going to do that because I think we've talked about this before. How the interface wouldn't work
on some of these bigger phones and on the iPad. I think you could make it work.
But the thing is, like the amount of pressure you put on a button.
Have you heard about Apple's new force-sensitive?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
All right, sorry.
Well, when that happens, maybe my tune will change.
Right. Okay.
But the amount of pressure you put on a button, like I'm going to grab a controller because apparently I can't talk about something without having an example. So I push down on the button like hard like that.
Right.
So if I was playing Super Mario Brothers, push down hard, he jumps really high.
Yes.
If I kind of tap it a little bit like that, he jumps a little bit.
Right.
You can't do that with the mobile interface.
Right now with the mobile interface, yes. By the end of the year, I'd be willing to bet you will be able to.
All right.
I went to the Apple Store this week and tried out their force-sensitive trackpad, and it feels like it is a regular trackpad with moving parts. It is not. You are touching it, and the force sensitivity stuff makes your finger feel like you actually click down on something. And that came to the watch first. It's coming to their trackpads now.
Is the watch out?
It's out next month.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm not getting an Apple
Watch. And then
I don't wear a watch now. Why the hell would I all of
fitness,
a sudden?
That's why I would get one.
I have my Wii U pedometer.
Right. Yeah.
Which I like. It's gonna be sad. I've only gotten like 590 steps today. It's fucking pathetic.
I mean, I use an armband and my phone for the most part now, so I don't really need one. But that's why I would get one if I was getting one. Anyway.
Hey, do you like fitness?
Yeah.
Try fitness in your mouth.
Oh.
I pointed at my crotch.
Well, we've already said I don't want. Well, no, we said I don't want my dick anywhere near you. We didn't say anything about your dick.
So you're a total bottom, is what you're saying.
There's wide speculation that because it's come to the watch, the trackpad, that force sensitivity will come to the iPad and to the iPhone this year, and then you would get
in the iPhone 6, whatever, or are they going straight up to 7?
Who the fuck knows how they're going to title this thing? Because it's been the pattern. It's been starting way back with the 3G and then the 3GS. It's been 3G, 3GS. 4, 4S, 5, 5S. Now you've got 6 and 6 Plus. Are they going to do 6S and 6S Plus? That's fucking stupid.
What about 6S minus? Because they want to, isn't there talk about making a smaller one again?
Maybe there has been that talk, but I wouldn't. Who knows? I don't know. I do not know. I don't have any little birdies. I did go and visit with some of my old friends who still work at the Apple store, but they obviously can't tell me anything, just like I couldn't tell anybody anything when I worked there.
Oh, no.
And,
so, yeah.
I mean, they could. Who knows what the hell they're going to call it this year. I don't envy the people who work there now because of all of the various... not only do they have, 4 or 5 different phones now, they also have
the new Laserdisc Apple Pro laptop.
Yes. And now they're gonna have all these watches they get to help people try on, and there might be a new Apple TV. There's
there's gonna be a new Apple TV, and it sucks because I kind of want to get the HBO now, but you need to have the Apple.
Yeah. Well, you can get the $69 one.
But if it's gonna come out again in the summer, it's like fuck you.
I wouldn't bet on it coming out in the summer. I would bet that they're gonna. They might announce something in June at their developer conference, but then probably say it'll come out around iPhone time for Christmas. That's what I would bet on. Based on having been an Apple.
But I don't want to buy something and then buy something else at the end of the year.
What I'm curious about what they'll do with an Apple TV is, it already does 1080p, and most of the televisions out there are 1080p. The $69 one. It already does the highest quality video. It could get faster. It's using an old chip, so it could get faster. You could put more onboard memory on it, but there's really no point because most of the stuff you're streaming. So all you're going to do is upgrade the processor and possibly upgrade it so that it could output 4K video, which nobody has on their TVs. Most people do not have on their TVs.
I definitely don't.
And so I'm slipping into my old Apple patterns that when I was at the store and somebody would come in with that kind of objection, I'd be like, well, do you have a 4K display? No. Do you need an Apple TV now? Yes. We'll buy an Apple TV, right? Do you not need an Apple TV now? No. Then wait. And I wasn't very good at sales, but that was the way that I did it.
You're a terrible salesman. You got to be like, hey, you got to catch them all.
Whatever. I don't need to catch them all.
I'm trying to.
All the diseases?
No.
Yeah. Not making your way through all the VDs.
I haven't gotten any. What the fuck?
I'm just kidding.
I'm doing a really bad job. Jesus Christ. How about you? How are you doing on VD, Chris?
Doing on catching all the VDs?
Well, I've only got AIDS.
I still got to go back and get chlamydia.
But it's tough because I have the AIDS.
I have the AIDS.
That's the finisher.
Yeah. It's like, why did I get that one first?
It's like trading cards. I've got AIDS. I can trade you that for chlamydia. They're like, no. I'm fine with chlamydia. I can get a little penicillin, get rid of that.
Yeah. Wait, chlamydia, is that the clap?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. I've never had it.
I haven't had it.
Thank the Lord.
I've had 2 fucking sex partners. How the hell would I have ended up with anything?
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah. Are we done?
We're done. You can find show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/30.
The website name.
No, I was like, why am I looking at you? Why am I looking at you while I'm saying this?
Because you don't have your pen? I don't know.
I don't know. Yes, I need something to fiddle with.
I'm backing up.
And you can find me on Twitter at ECC1977 on Twitter.
Say it again. Say Twitter some more.
Twitter. We're recording this on Twitter's 9th birthday. I think it's their 9th birthday.
Oh, boy.
Yay.
We're old because
Never mind. Where can they find you?
I'm Tuesday is loser. That's the word Tuesday. ISLOSER. Tuesday is loser.
Tuesday is loser. Not Tuesday is looser.
Did I spell it wrong?
No, I'm making a joke.
Oh. Because I suck at spelling, and I'm like, did I just fucking spell that wrong?
Is Tuesday looser?